Welcome to the TK Show with the Athletic Bay Area's Editor-in-Chief, Tim Kawakami.
Hey everybody, Tim Kawakami here, TK Show. Really great to have on as my guest for, I believe it's her third time on the TK Show in different circumstances, but it's still the TK Show, which I think is a record that she tied with Jim Harbaugh, Steve Kerr, Billy Beane, Joe Lacob. There's some decent names on this, and
wow.
adding to this, an even bigger name, the best name of all, Ros Gold-Onwude, third time on, first time with the Athletic, but always part of any group that I want to be a part of. That's great. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So thank you for having me on. I'm honestly honored and humbled to be part of such a distinguished class of three-timers.
It's not. I like this group. I'll tell you, I do like this group. A little self-selected too, but I like this group. Hey, Roz, you're in town for TNT. Of course, you got the big gig with TNT this year. You're doing the game tomorrow, Warriors Spurs. Just give us a slice of. I know you were doing some work on the Pac-12 Women's Conference Championship. You've been all over. What's a little slice? What's the last few weeks been like for you?
Well, it's been busy because I went straight from working NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yep.
So the first time in my career really working it in that capacity. When I went with the Warriors in the past, I just had to know our four guys, and I just kind of followed Clay around for the three-point contest and, see if we could do a quick interview with Steph after the All-Star game. And this time I had to know every player, all their stories, all their team stories, kind of be ready for anything. I never worked the Rising Stars game before. I never worked the dunk contest or three-point contest. I never worked All-Star game. And then those were the nighttime events at Staples. In the daytime, we were filming shows, doing appearances. So honestly, working All-Star, by the time Sunday came, I was pooped. I was so tired.
Yep.
But then right off of that, it's March now. So, I've got March Madness ramping up along with the NBA season. So in addition to the games that I do on NBA on TNT, I just came from New York. We had big meetings discussing the NCAA tournament for the men. I'm really excited to be on. That's a prestigious and big stage to be on. And it's an interesting year. There were a lot of conversations about all the different things that may pop up that we'll have to handle as far as violations and coaches and things like that. So it's an interesting year. And then now, the comfort level for me is NBA is my comfort zone. So I'm just glad to be back in the Bay right now. I'm in San Francisco at the moment, and I get back to Oracle Arena.
Yeah, what's when you get back here? You might not have a ton of time, but when you are back in the Bay Area, what's your first thing? What do you have to do? Do you have to go somewhere? Do you have to get a certain dish of food? Or what's a Ros Gold-Onwude? When I'm back in the Bay Area, here's what I got to do.
I'm afraid if I give this answer that I will end up answering your favorite restaurant.
Okay.
Question. Well, so do you want the juice now? The hard hitting answer now. Do you want it? I think I'll save that for later.
Yeah, I like it. Let's make sure. Yeah, let's put this at the end. And this is the wise production. Roz is doing good production on my show here. We could use this.
See how much I've grown all around, But I think what I have to do now, considering I no longer live in the Bay, is I really have to get to see my friends and my extended family out of here because I've moved to Atlanta now for this new role with Turner and TNT and NBA TV. So when I come back to the Bay, I get my girls together, we have dinner, we have food, and I try to make the most of it. So that's one of the two hardest things about leaving the Bay. Having gone to, it's not just I was here for Warriors basketball, I was here for college basketball, Stanford basketball. I was in the Bay for 10 years. I had a really well-developed group of friends, my girls in particular, family out here, people that I considered family. And then the second part is nothing is like working with a team. So there's nothing like being within the Warriors family as well.
So what's it been like then? You're flying all around now with TNT. Do you feel like you're building something with the other teams? Do you have the same kind of relationships, or is it a process that you certainly so identify with the Warriors? I'm sure still. I mean, do other players bug you about that at all?
Oh yeah, well, it's always going to be special with the Warriors. A lot of us, the guys and I, and even the staff and everyone, we grew through a really special time together. So, many of us in one way or another keep up, whether it's through social media, stay involved, cheer each other on. So that relationship is always there. What I'm finding with the rest of the league is it's actually been really kind of cool and flattering in the sense that a lot of guys, had seen me around or were happy for me. I found I've met, covered a team for the first time, and I'd do a sit down with their star player or something, and he'd say, "Hey, I think you do a good job. Like, keep it up. I'm proud of you," or like, things like that. Or a coach even, very encouraging. A lot of the coaches that we sit down with, I remember Coach Snyder for the Jazz. I went to go sit in on shoot around or practice or something, and he comes over and he immediately starts talking about defense. He's like, "What did you think about it in college?" And I was like, that's cool. These guys are paying attention. So it's been nothing but love. I think as I continue to get more experience and over the years, the relationships will become deeper and deeper with these programs and different franchises. That's been good. Last thing about the schedule, my quality of life is a lot more chill, though.
Yep.
Like, working with the team, as you know, when I can be on the road for 4 or 5 games in a week and never come home. Plus, I was hustling like 5, 6 different networks.
Yep.
When the Warriors were off last year, I would go plug in a college game here. I do men's A10, women's Pac-12, men's Pac-12, WNBA, podcasts, this and that. And so I was never home. And now I have a much better home life. Like, I travel Wednesday, I go to practices. Thursday, I have the national game. Friday, I'm traveling back home. I'm off weekends. And then Monday, Tuesday in studio. So it's not so bad in that way.
That's nice.
And Turner has allowed me to still do Pac-12 women's basketball, which was really near and dear to my heart. I still wanted to stay close to the women's game.
Well, let's talk about Pac-12 women's basketball because I'm intrigued by this Oregon team. I know you mentioned this to me before. Why are they special? Why is this? We know Stanford has dominated the conference for so long. Why is this Oregon team so good?
Because they are so bold. Like,
Yep.
They really are just an exciting, spicy, fiery team. I think anyone, whether you're following women's basketball or not, or whether you're following college basketball or not, you can get into this team because they are. It's almost like they're too young to even know that they should fear anything or they shouldn't fear anything. They're talented. They're led by Sabrina Ionescu, who is, leading the entire nation in triple doubles. She's a tall point guard, and
from the Bay Area.
From the Bay,
Yep.
decided to go to Oregon.
Yep.
And they're a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, and they're exciting. They're warriors-like. They shoot a ton of threes. They play fast. They got Ruthie Hebert inside, and they're way ahead of schedule. And basically, to wrap up, like, the drama of this was UCLA had all these top seniors. They beat out UCLA in an exciting game. Then Stanford has won the tournament, Pac-12 tournament last year, and multiple times, I think 12 or 13 times. They beat Stanford in the championship game handedly. They just bold. I think they could be frisky come tournament time. I hope they can make a Final Four run, depending on matchups. We'll see. And again, though, it's UConn's tournament.
Yep.
I think UConn is very motivated after last year's defeat.
Is this Oregon team kind of comparable to some of the really good Stanford teams of the past?
I think as far as talent,
Yeah.
for sure, I think they have their own identity. I don't even want to do that to them.
Yep.
Like, they are very unique. They are playing fast, multiple high-flying three-ball basketball. They are, they have inside out, and they're just really explosive, and they're doing it so young.
Yep.
Sabrina Ionescu, who I mentioned, is the only sophomore on the Naismith Player of the Year list.
Yep. Well, let's get to the Warriors a little bit here. The season's been a different kind of season. They've talked about, it's the fourth season. It's been a long haul. There's been some maybe mental fatigue more than anything, but maybe some physical fatigue too. Still right there, but it's the first time in a long time they're looking up at a team in the West. They're looking up at Houston. Where do you think, just from what you've seen and what people around the league think, where is this Warriors team? Are they vulnerable, or are they still the same team that we've known, for most of the last 3 years?
No, they're still a really great, excellent, high-level basketball team. They're still, on paper, the best team in the NBA. What I was thinking about with the Warriors as I was preparing for this game, I remember, I always keep an extra eye on the Warriors. That's
Sure.
always going to be near and dear to my heart. So I keep an extra eye, and I was reading all these articles about, dog days of January, and then kind of wanted the guys wanting to rush into the All-Star break. We need the All-Star break. Now we're out of the All-Star break, and I'm reading articles, and God, we just want playoffs to be here. And, while these guys are so capable of, really elevating themselves above the competition, I just wonder, are they still being joyful out there? Are they still able to appreciate the present? It feels like everything I've read this season was a rush to get somewhere else. And I think that's part of the mental endurance and fatigue that comes with 3 straight NBA finals. And we're not even just talking finals. One of those years was Olympics. You're talking about 4 All-Stars 2 years in a row, the increased attention, the increased brands of these men. They don't just take off this summer. They do their world tours. They do their community work. They spread their business wings. Everybody's involved in tech. All of them have had, since I've met them, everybody's family has blossomed. Now they're daddies. Everybody's a daddy now. Or many of them, not everybody. So it's a lot, and it wears on you, And I hope that they can rekindle some of that day-to-day joy, not just trying to get to the next thing. I remember what that first season was like, or even what that second 73-9 season was. There was something special and joyful in each game, and each road trip. And so I just hope that that's something they can still tap into.
Yeah, one thing that I've been thinking about is it's been a great run. It still is a great run. Maybe they make some changes at the end of this season just to get it fresh again. Obviously, got fresh again with Durant last season, and that was obviously a very fascinating renewal of them. But just kind of the personalities or just the talents. Do you see something like that at the end of this? I'm not saying that here's what should happen, but do you see something like that possibility with this team?
Now, I'm not going to speculate here, but I can speak from sure experience. I speak to so many NBA players, a number of people considering how they can make a move to the Warriors. And I'm not even talking about a seasoned veteran player. You have those that want to maybe finish out the end of their career with a chance to play for a championship. I'm talking about players in their prime trying to find a way to jockey. And, in order to make things like that happen, the Warriors would have to shake some things up.
Yep.
And I know a key year people are looking at too is not this year. I think it's the next one. It's 2019, where guys become free agents on this team and have a chance to bust a move, perhaps after having won 4 championships or a number of championships. So, I think like a marriage, you got to keep it spicy. You got to put a wig on it once in a while, and television change things up, and But I think what the Warriors do is they don't ever get comfortable. It's just arms race in some ways too. Because teams are closing gaps. You can't fight the gradual age that comes over time. I mean, these guys are in their prime still.
Yep.
But also something that Doc once said, Doc Rivers, I remember reading an article, he said there's just a natural erosion of chemistry over time. There's only so long that things are in utopia before, things start grinding on people or nerves or, I don't see that at all right now for the Warriors, but I'm just saying over time, things may change. And then as other organizations start to rise, Celtics start to come into their own, Gordon Hayward comes back, those young guys become prime time guys. They get that year of experience, Rockets, they got the juice right now. Yep. They can continue to build for next season and this off season. A lot of things are percolating out in LA. So I think it's a really exciting time in the NBA, and I very much point to the Warriors when I say why have things evolved this way? It's because it's the Warriors effect. and they have to keep up with the Warriors' effect.
Yep.
And the teams are trying to keep up with them, and now the Warriors will have to keep up with it too. But long answer to finish here is, I know for a fact this Warriors team is very happy. These guys really like each other. Everybody's really happy with, the opportunities that they have in the Bay on and off of the court. I know they really like each other. I know, there's no feelings of grudges or wanting jealousy. There's none of that. And that this team's going to be good for at least a few more years. They've done a really nice job building.
They remain pretty damn talented. What do you think about the Rockets? I mean, this is you watched them lately. This is a pretty powerful team themselves. Is this a legitimate threat to knock off the Warriors?
I am intrigued by the Rockets.
Yeah.
I'm into them. I really am. Of course, too, that's the basketball fan in me. Like, I like the idea of a little bit of interesting. Wouldn't it be boring if we were like, oh, the Warriors are going to, march through this whole thing and win it all? That's boring. I'd rather think that, hey, there's a heavyweight matchup coming later in the season, or, and I had the chance to cover the Rockets a bunch of times this season for TNT. And I think ultimately, Harden's been playing MVP basketball for like the last 3 years, honestly.
Yep.
Might be his breakthrough year finally, because Steph had to have a ridiculous season 2 years in a row, and the Warriors, the explosion of the Warriors that came with that. Russ had to average a triple-double to beat him out last year. So I think, this is the year. Harden's playing great basketball. I will say, having spoken to him and his teammates, he's in a different space. I think the way the season ended last year, just so publicly embarrassing, how it almost looked like the Rockets collapsed, maybe James collapsed, maybe D'Antoni collapsed. We couldn't tell exactly what happened there. I think that sat poorly with him. And so what I'm hearing from guys like Eric Gordon, hey, Harden is more consistent in practice. Hey, he's really stepped up with ownership as a leader. His attitude is different this year. Let's not forget, there's someone who's going to make sure that nobody loses focus, or somebody's not being held accountable on the Rockets now, and that's Chris Paul.
Yep.
Chris Paul's playing great basketball. And I think they're more, defensive-minded with PJ Tucker, Ba Mute. They got shooters, guys that can, get hot, stretch the floor. They shoot the three. They can play fast. And I think a key part of this is Clint Capella has improved a lot, too. So, or Clint Capella improved, or maybe he's getting really great passes from two guards. I don't know. But
it's funny how that works together like that.
Yeah. Right. But I'm into the Rockets. I really, really am. And I have to tell you, I really, truly feel these guys think they can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series. They really do.
Yep. They've certainly
And I think that's
so.
half the battle.
Yep. And they beat them. Hey, they beat them twice out of 3 times this year.
They've won the regular season against them, exactly. Yep. So, but playoff basketball is different. But, when I talk to teams about the Warriors, there's always this kind of, even though there's the pride of not saying, oh, this team's going to beat us, there's always this quiet, this quiet admission within the conversation of like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy what those guys are doing. Or like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and from the Rockets at all. There's no bracing for defeat. I think like, in the past, like with Tyson and stuff, people have to battle. They'd come in there and they'd already be beat before they stepped in the ring.
Yep.
I'm excited for this. I think they're going to need to defend and, just continue to do what they're doing, but they are in a zone right now.
Yep. And that last night they were just fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about Atlanta. It might weave into the final question too about your favorite restaurant. But
wait, I have a question for you.
Oh, shoot!
I'll do it at the end.
Okay. We got 2 final questions. One by me, one by Ross. I love it. She's just running the show, and I am letting her do it. If you can, tell us a little bit about life in Atlanta. Tell us, for someone who's been in the Bay Area for so long and is known so much. And I'll just ask you, what's your favorite restaurant in Atlanta? I'll just kind of tie it around that way. What's the life like in Atlanta?
Well, it's very nice. I mean, honestly, I'm on the West Coast more than I'm in Atlanta because Turner always puts me on the West Coast game, that second TNT game, and then I got Pac-12 games. So I was thinking about actually making a chart at the end of the year of days spent in California versus days spent in Atlanta since I made the move. But I live in Midtown, which is kind of like a city area of Atlanta. I love the diversity there. You know, there's a really strong, you know, African American community there, which is exciting. There's a lot of artsy type things. It's becoming like a second Hollywood. There's movies being made there. There's music. The Turner family, I'm really happy to be with. You know, it's like a family. Everybody reaches out to me. Everybody invites me places. You know, and I think on a whole, like the network is being creative with using me, not just in the reporter role, but they've had me on as an analyst with Area 21, and I've had a chance to host some things. I hope that continues to grow. You know, I'm happy. The only thing I can really say also is I have a cool apartment.
Nice. It's always good.
Yeah, no, because, you know, you get more bang for your buck in Atlanta. I could probably never afford this place in the Bay. I've got like a private elevator that opens into the apartment, and you wouldn't even believe. You know Bay prices. I could never do this in San Francisco or even Oakland. So it's that's it. But I still have to get to know Atlanta. I'm excited about when the weather gets warm and going to Piedmont Park and like checking out more. So I don't yet have a favorite restaurant in Atlanta, but I am going to give a shameless plug to my hands-down favorite restaurant in San Francisco, which I think is more meaningful to to possibly your listeners.
Go ahead.
If you want the best soul food in San Francisco, you got to go to Hazel's Bar and Kitchen. It's soul food. Hazel's Bar and Kitchen. It's on 1446 Market Street. Now that I don't live in the Bay, I literally always go every time I'm there. They've got like the best concoctions of comfort and soul food mixed with like nice drinks. And right next door, there's a little live jazz space called Mr. Tipley's, and they're like interconnected. It's a cool vibe, and you can always also catch Warriors games there as well.
Wow.
So
love it.
I love it, and I will probably find my way there after this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll delay the release of this so no one actually like ends up being there waiting for you. But I love it, and I have not heard of this place. I am.
It just opened last year. It's been in existence for a year. You know, I know a bunch of people have stopped in from Warriors, and I know myself, me and my friends. I always get the oxtails and grits there.
Wow.
Yum yum.
Wow. Tremendous. I love that choice. I have not heard it. I love new restaurants in the city.
Right.
And I will try.
And if you can't get there, then go to Old Faithful Red Lobster.
Yeah, there you go. Way to go. That was the legendary choice, which I've heard other people back you up 100% on that too, by the way. 100%. All right. You got a question for me, Ros?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I was just curious if you saw Black Panther.
If I still say it again?
Did you see the movie Black Panther?
I have not seen Black Panther. I really want to.
Marcus Thompson, Ben Cruz, Marcus Thompson, How to Take 10K.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
I
love the culture.
I love the comic, by the way. Love it. I mean, I read that as a kid, so I am up for this. I don't go to crowded places. That's just me.
I get that.
You know,
but you go to arenas all the time.
I know. I have to do that one. But I'm not in favor of like standing in line, though. You know, I'll wait for everyone to go see it, which is great. I love that it's such a cultural event for everybody, not white, black, Japanese, whoever. It's a cultural event. I love that children are going to see it. I love the whole thing. What I didn't know I didn't know how many African Americans were into comic books when they were kids. I just thought, and yet I just see this conversation and I love it because I was Marvel Comics, the whole Avengers and Black Panther and Captain America and Spider-Man. That was me, and I'm hearing now these movies are out and these really cool movies are out. I'm hearing so many people. Black and other races are into these comics. There must be some kind of thing there that there was this.
Well, I think it's the representation, and I think it's cool right now that there's an opportunity for, Black kids or African kids to see that there's a superhero that looks like them. And I like what you said, where it doesn't just stop there. We need to continue to have a diverse range of, superheroes that young kids can look up to and think, hey, that could be me. It doesn't have to just be one thing. And I think you're right on with that.
You know what I think about, and I love watching these kids going to, and these athletes taking kids out, right, buying the whole theater and actors.
JaVale just did that.
Absolutely, I love that. And I thought, you know what, if there's an Asian, and I don't want to just make this about my demographic, but it does hit me, like if there was an Asian superhero movie, I would love to take Asian kids to that. And I love that.
And I think that's important too. I remember taking courses in school, and of course, I also have Asian friends who have expressed these feelings too. I mean, there's been conversations about the perennial foreignness of the Asian in America too. Like, I think there are many minority groups where it's become comfortable to have certain jokes about them or to assume certain things about them and we need to change that dialogue. And so sometimes it's something as maybe it's not trivial. It's important, as magical as a superhero book or movie can help touch lives while kids are young and let them know I can be different and still be special and still be super powered. I can be great, and I'm not left out just because I'm a minority. So I think that this is a healthy, exciting time in the U.S. I really do. And it's for everyone. It's not just for Black people.
I could not agree more. And it's a good movie, by the way?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's really good. I think, visually beautiful, stories told well. So, I mean, maybe in a few weeks, I hope the movie's still packed in, but, if you see it in a month from now, and you can be like one of, at the end when nobody's in there or download it or something. Or
I will watch. No, believe me, I will watch this movie. There's no question about that.
I am going to put Marcus Thompson on this task. I'd like the two of you to go. I can send you some authentic, original clothing. I have cousins in Syria that can make you something special, Tim. We'll have you in Ankara, full African attire.
I'll send you a picture. This is great.
I love that.
All right.
I love that.
This is awesome, Ros. Fantastic conversation. We could keep going on forever, but I don't want to take you forever. I'll let you get out and enjoy your food, enjoy your friends, and I will see you tomorrow night.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Ros Gold-Onwude killing it on her third time on the TK show. I love it. Thanks, everybody.